Hello! First, I just want to thank everybody for sending in so many great ways to keep creative on my last video. You can see I wrote some of them down and definitely implemented a few of them. So, moving on to today's topic, we are going to be talking about references. Now, film is predominantly a visual medium, which means that as a director you need to sort of develop this world inside your head that the film takes place in. And having that idea in your head is great, but it's kind of useless if you're not able to communicate it to other people. Your cinematographer, production designer, wardrobe, makeup, sound designer, and a lot of other people working on your film are going to need to be able to see what you see. And if you're not capable of articulating that yourself, then you're going to need a lot of references. References are just basically anything that already exists in the world that you can sort of use as a jumping off point. One of my professors in university used to say that one cannot create in a vacuum, that you have to feed yourself to create something of your own. I mentioned in the last video that I like to listen to a certain kind of music while I'm writing, but I also like to make another playlist, and that's something that is specific to the tone of the film that I'm writing, and it sort of just helps to conjure up the mood of the film. This is something that you can listen to while you're brainstorming, and it's also really cool because you can share it with other members of your creative team so that they can kind of understand the vibe you're going for. If you're interested in listening to that playlist, then I will link it down below. Another really simple reference to collect is just a list of films that somehow resemble the one that you're trying to make. My list so far is pretty short, and it is made up of Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, Lying, and Surviving Crooked Lake. And that's all I have for now. Another thing that some people do that I don't really do is sort of create an equation that combines different films together. So an example of that would be something like Batman meets Atonement if it was directed by Lars von Trier and made in the 1950s, which is not an accurate representation of my film. Color palette is another thing that you can start to develop at this point. If you're not sure right away what you want in your color palette, then that's something that will sort of start to develop as you collect visual references. Probably be able to see a number of colors recurring. Other things that can be collected are paintings, drawings, photographs, film stills. Okay, something that I found to be extraordinarily helpful when it comes to collecting visual references is Tumblr. Tumblr is such an insane resource for visuals. So I've been working on my Tumblr for a while, and if you go there and you look at what I've collected, then that should help you sort of understand the kind of imagery that I'm looking to create. What's even better than finding photos on the internet is if you have pictures from your past that you can use as a reference. I am lucky enough to have lots of those. Lots of pictures. Can you see the resemblance? You can also use literary references if you wish. I didn't really have one until just the other day when I was thinking about how I didn't have any literary references, and then I was looking through my basement and I found this book that I read when I was younger called A Handful of Time by Kit Pearson, and I'm almost blown away by how much it has to do with the film that I'm making. So that about does it for references. If you have any suggestions, any films that I might be missing, any photographs that you might think I would like, then please send them to me. That would be awesome. And I will see you next time when I believe we will be talking about locations.